So now we've established the reset style sheet. We got to start building it back up, so we need to create a new style sheet, and that's pretty easy to do from Dreamweaver. You simply choose New, Blank Page, CSS, and you choose Create. Now that's going to come in as an untitled style sheet. What you want to do is do a File, Save As, and you want to give it a name, and you want to make sure it's in the right location. So it's under Exercises, Case Studies, CSS, and we're going to call that base.css. So we save that. You'll notice that it shows up over here as base CSS. So now what we want to do is first let's go ahead and attach that to the template. So I come into the source code, I again click the attach style sheet link, I browse to it, I choose base, then I click OK. You'll notice that it puts it in this location over here in the head, inside the head tag, and it puts it after the reset style sheet. So there's the reset style sheet, here's the base style sheet. You want the base to come second, because the way the cascade works, it even works within a document. So if I've got a reset style sheet, it's going to read that first, it's going to apply those rules, and then it's going to come and read the base CSS and apply those rules over the ones in the reset. So that's following the cascade. Now even within a particular site style sheet, if I wanted to come in and put a body tag at the end, then that would override the one at the beginning. So the last thing it reads as it's on its way to the content is the thing that the last time that rule is a rule affecting a certain item is encountered. That's the rule that overrides the other ones, unless it's one of the exceptions where you tell it to not allow it to override it. But that's another lesson. So we've got our base CSS here. What we want to do is if we look back at this reset CSS, I've taken away all the sizes for all my text tags. So in here I've got all my H's and my P that have been taken away. I want to start by giving those properties back to the document. And if you look at the support document for this, it tells you what those settings need to be. You want to go ahead and put them into, and you want to make sure you're adding them to the base CSS, not the reset CSS, because we're sort of segregating those out, because we may use a different we may use the same reset CSS for all our pages, but we may use a different set of CSS to start building it up. So you want to go through and you want to apply the content that is specified for the H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6, and the paragraph. And the way that we're doing this, and this is something that's new to us, notice as soon as I refresh it, we get some font sizes back. It starts giving us back a little bit of what we took away with that reset style sheet. Now there's a couple things I want to point out here. Now first off, you may be used to using pixels with your design project, and it's okay to use pixels when you're looking at font sizes. In fact, I'll bring up the edit rules for this one, and I can choose from EMs, which is what I'm using, and I'll talk more about that. I could use pixels, points, etc., and we've gone over those before. But with the way that the web is going, where you might be displaying on any number of sizes and resolutions, it's moving towards using EMs because they work better mathematically than some of the other ones. And the way that works is one EM is approximately equal to 16 pixels. So it becomes a math situation where if I want to have a font that is, let's just say 24 pixels, or the equivalent of 24 pixels, then if I'm going to be working in EMs instead of pixels, what I do is I do this mathematical equation, which is 24 divided by 16, and that gives me 1.5, and that's the thing for the EMs. Now you'll notice that there's these gray sections next to each one of those. Those are comments, and comments are used both in HTML and CSS and in other places too. in order to put information in there that isn't going to be interpreted by the computer. Now, when we are doing it with style sheets, we start a comment with a /* and we end it with a */, and anything between that is going to be commented out. That's why it's gray. If I go to the source code, you'll see that there are comments in there normally as well. And here's one, for example. Here's a comment tag. That's the beginning tag of a comment. This is the ending tag of a comment. So that's how you comment things out. In HTML, it's really easy to add comments. I'm just going to come down to the end of the HTML, and you just tell it to insert a comment. So I come over to this insert tag, and I scroll down and I'll choose comment, and you'll notice that it puts this code in there. And so anything that sits between that opening comment mark and the closing will not be interpreted or rendered. So you can do it with the HTML, and it's good to get in the habit of doing that. And you'll notice that I did that with this this base CSS. I'm putting those mathematical equations in. So if you're wondering how do I get a 0.875 EM, the comment there shows you what the math is. So that's a good habit to do when you're starting to put something in that later on either you may need to understand why you did it, or somebody else coming through and interpreting your code might need to understand why you did something. So now we've got our base CSS, our reset CSS, and of course our source code. What we want to do is I want to go ahead and save everything and update it. So get in the habit of always updating those pages when you're using templates, because that otherwise it breaks that connection. Close that, and then I'm going to synchronize it up to the server. And after I have synchronized it to the server, I go back up there, I choose reload, and you notice that some of the font size came back. It's most noticeable in those H1s because we didn't use much else. So now I want to go ahead and I want to start working on developing some more presentation on this. And I'm going to go ahead and work in my template just because it's going to apply to all the pages. And I want to create some new elements to this. So let's go through and play with and create some elements here. Our presentations, not new elements. So what I want to do is I want to give a background color for my header. So I select my header, and the easiest way to do it is to click somewhere within that, and then if you're in Dreamweaver, there's this context specific navigation over here. So I click header and it chooses all of that. Then I can either choose to edit the rule or come over here and choose to edit the rule. So there's always more than one way to do something. That brings up, okay, so I come over here and I choose my header, and I want to be in the source code so that I can see it. I choose anything in my header, and I choose this context specific menu over here. That allows me to create a new rule for header, and so I choose the create new rule, create new CSS rule, and there's a couple options here. You can do class, ID, tag, or compound. We'll start with a tag, and we want to do header. Okay, we want to make sure that we're not saving it in the reset.css, so we want to change that to the base CSS in this case. Then we click OK, and that's going to open up a new window for me, and what I want to do is apply a background color. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to choose background, and I'm going to go to the background color. I can go ahead and use my picker either way, and I'm going to grab the same background color as we have in that part of the header there. So I've got the background color for the header in the base CSS. I click OK. It gives me that. I want to go ahead and where I want to look, and you'll notice that there's the little star next to the base CSS. That tells me that it has changed it in that file. When I come in here and look, I'll see that that background color of pound D29100, and so that will become one of the core colors in my palette. And so I'm going to want to use that same color for my footer. So I come in and I will grab, I will click inside my footer. This allows me to grab it. Again, I'm going to do a new CSS rule, and that is for a tag. And it's on the base CSS. You need to always check that when you're using multiple style sheets. And then I go into my background color, and there's my footer. So my main content for now stays the same color. My header and footer get those other colors that are matched up with the background color in the Community Garden logo. So now I want to make some compound rules. So so now what I want to do is I want to give myself the opportunity where I can have other H1s in the page that look different than the H1s that are in the header. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create some basic content here. And because I'm working in the template, that won't actually be set. I mean, since I'm working in a editable region, and the error of my ways is I don't have this set up as an editable region, this main content. So I want to go ahead and select that, and let's get that an editable region, and I'm going to call that edit region main content. I click OK, and now let's go through this process again. And now you'll see that it's in an editable region. So let's once again close that, and we will synchronize the site and check it again. So I come in here. Right now I'm on the join page. I refresh that. All of that pushes forward because I had created that when it was not in an editable region. It had already pushed that through, but now it is in an editable region because I went back through and corrected that. So when I then go to, that's the join page that I was just looking at. Let's change that to we would like you to join our community garden, and we'll just put that as temporary. And we set that as an H1. And we have the community garden with the compound selectors applying, templates working, reset style sheet working, base style sheet working. We're good to go for now, ready to really start marching out the content on this site.